What is going on, Lunatic Fringe? Guys, today I'm wearing my This Is Not Financial Advice, but I am always right. And the reason that I'm wearing it is I'm going to show you right now. There's some craziness happening in the chat, in comment sections and stuff like that. And we're going to go over that. We got a lot. We had a 441 million burn for Terra Luna Classic from Binance today. So there's a bunch we're going to talk about. And listen, there's a lot of supporters for Jesus is Lord. But of course, billion people are hooked into a book. It stands to reason that no matter what, you're going to defend because you know what I'm talking. It's like MAGA, only the guy's not alive. You know what I mean? Top of the first. You do realize that this is for you, guy. This is for you, guy. David Bear. This was a few minutes ago. You do realize that with all your constant complaining, you might as well be wearing the clown nose too. You're doing more harm to the token by dividing the community. No. And despite always claiming you're always right, your chart predictions rarely hold up. You need to adjust your tagline. No, I don't. I'm always right. And you're wrong. But guess what? I gave you a gotcha tag over here. I gave you a whole bunch of rant and you watched. So I'm pretty sure it worked. So, what have you done with Happy Caddy Crypto? Is he in your basement? Well, he sent me a hate diatribe on Telegram. For those of you that don't know, he attacked me on Telegram. I had sent out, this was when Lunk Dash was first happening and he was creating the wallet. And I said, I'm going to reach out to him and see if we can let bygones be bygones because I would be interested in talking about Lunk Dash, but I don't want to do it without him saying, you know what, it's fine. Go for it. And by the way, that's unpaid. Like I wanted to do it because it's the right thing to do, not because I would get paid for it or anything like that. So, I just wanted to make sure that it was okay. And then he sent me this hate rant that no, he and I could not work together because I don't agree with everything that he does. So there's absolutely no way we could do that. And he sent me this entire wall of text and I'm like, what the f is going on? And then he deletes the whole thing. So, if you want to know what a female cat looks like, watch one of his videos. Then 5 Ounce Silver says, I absolutely trust Christopher Harris. Because of course you do. Like I just said, there's a billion people out there reading this book that are going to believe anything that anybody says when they say the word Jesus is Lord. Of course you are. It makes perfect sense. He is a man of integrity. I'm moving on from this channel. Adios, muchacho. I appreciate you for when you were here. Thank you so much for tuning in when you did. I think it's very important that you hear conflicting views. I don't want you to be some kind of crazy religious zealot who doesn't like to hear dissent in any way. That wouldn't be healthy for you, would it? Quick Nick says, fix it. I'm tired of hearing about the same shit every year after year. Someone needs to own it and fix it. When the burn tax was 1.2%, volume was best. Burns were best, and that is stay that we would already burn that. Oh, okay. Let's break this down one more because I don't know what this is. When the burn tax was 1.2%, volume was best. Burns were best, and that is stay that you would already burn nearly half of supply, but you don't see that this way. Guilty of that is many of you and scammers like Crypto King Levi, cats, validators, and blevs too. I believe he means believes right there, and I don't know what the he's talking about. Well, specifically because none of these people, except me in partnership with Terra Casino, are being paid for any content. So how could we scam some? I don't tell you what to buy. I don't tell you what to do. I think this is just a foreigner who has no idea and thinks there's some kind of craziness in them. Okay. Go to Jesus Lord. Check out his explanation on why he voted the way he did. And by the way, we should now stop for just a moment and say, I disagree with Jesus is Lord. And I think that Jesus is Lord is working against progress on this blockchain. And I say that, but I don't think that he is a villain in the story. I think that there are villains in the story who are wanting to keep you. And by the way, if you have any question about that, you can go back to some of my old videos. And I've said this specifically. I don't like Jesus is Lord in the way that he votes, but I think that he, just like somebody else said, has integrity. And I think that at least he's honest about what he's doing. He believes a certain way. He doesn't believe a different way. And he's firm in his purpose. And to me, I admire that, but I don't agree with it. So the other people, I think they're scammers. So, and I don't mean to lump by the way, Jesus is Lord, or Christopher. I don't give a shit what his name is. I don't mean to lump Jesus as Lord 1 and 2, the same person, into that discussion. I don't care. Again, as long as his purpose is noble, validate with him if you agree. And I've said this many, many times. If you think that what he's voting on is correct, validate with him. I don't care. What I do care about is when you're looking at grifters. You saw the title. You know who they are, that are just pushing you and grifting you to keep this little cottage industry going. And I don't think that that's what he's doing. And if I said that, my apologies. I don't think that I said it that way. I mean, I did point out, I think I pointed out how much revenue he generates. But again, that doesn't change that his purpose, in my opinion, is his own purpose. And there's a nobility in that. But again, I don't like him. I don't like the way he votes. So then who should we validate with then? Now, see, here, this is, I can't tell you, all right? I cannot tell you. I don't want, or at least I don't want to tell you that. I want you to look at how people vote. I want you to look at their voting record. I want you to look at the proposals. I want you to just take a moment to go check out how people vote, and then decide if who you're validating with is voting the way that you think is best. That's all. The market module 2.0 is really just an over-engineered piece of junk that will barely burn any lunk. Jesus is Lord put the burn tax up for vote 3 times, and 3 times it was voted down. Right. But that's not, I don't disagree with the burn tax, but Binance would not approve the burn tax. Binance was going to sell, and Binance was threatening people. So if the fact that Jesus is Lord is throwing his thumb up at Binance, I don't care, because I don't like Binance to begin with, but Binance is in this situation a partner holding 1.8 trillion tokens. Do you want the 1.8 trillion tokens dumped on the market? Because let me tell you what would happen. That would be the biggest flat line in history, and I watched the Luna collapse, and this would be as big as that. So it can go a lot lower. This could be the end, okay, if Binance does not step in there and Binance does not hold the line, if you will. So I would vote, by the way, I would have voted yes with Jesus is Lord for the burn tax. Like, I don't give a shit. It doesn't matter to me, but I understand why people are voting no, and I'm not defending them, but I'm saying that, again, this is where, as somebody who needs to put your money into, or your tokens into some kind of validator, choose to delegate to the people who are voting the way that you want. Trevor Reznor believes in what Jesus is Lord is doing. So now Market Module 2.0 is really just an over-engineered piece of junk that will barely burn any lunk. That's just because he's whining and crying because he doesn't really know that. All right, that's not a thing. So it won't burn a lot, by the way. Okay. And then there's some more of this stuff, but we're going to move on for this now. I've had my fun. There's the burn right now. 441,100,594 lunk were burned by Binance, so this was a very big day. Now, the reason that we acknowledge this as a very big day, and it's up to 508 billion. So, by the way, don't forget that after 441, there's still 66 million other that have been burned. And look at this right here. We're down to 158. This was just a horrible run for the last 7 days of burns that it's about to get, a little bit accelerated. It's not going to be great, but it's going to be good. Tomorrow, we're going to see a significant increase to about 700 million over the course of the last 7 days. And that'll be a good number. But again, we need 2 billion. So, hope there's more. Also, don't forget, an exciting future lies ahead for Terraport with our new tokenomics ready to revolutionize the value of the Terra token and actively reward the community. What awaits you shortly is a dynamic daily burn. 50% of the tax will go to the burn, continuously ensuring Terra's increasing scarcity, and enhanced incentives. The other 50% is for you, staking with multi-token rewards, a more remunerative dynamic farm thanks to the liquid staking integration, and an innovative USDC giveaway. Your voice will be crucial soon. Governance voting will begin. Get ready to have your say about Terraport's future. Also, and this is important, I want to let you know that we're setting up a DAO for TerraPump.fun. So if you're interested in creating your own meme coin and starting your own revolution, then we're going to have a voting process up pretty soon for that. Folks, if you want to win and win big, TerraCasino.io is your place to go. All you have to do is sign up. Now, I'm going to do some giveaways again. Gave away a couple $100 the other day. We're going to do the same thing. We're going to keep this going. We're going to keep giving money away until you are rich. Maybe you win big. Maybe you have a nice little run. But if you're not signed up, if you're not giving yourself that little risk, that little reward, that little opportunity, then you're missing out, because there's a lot of people out here spending a lot of money trying to win, and they're winning big, gigantic prize pools. And these are every single day they're giving away money. So folks, sign up today at LFG. If you want to trade meme coins, you want to trade utility coins, Terraport.finance is your place to go. Remember, we just talked about the upgrades that are happening. Now, I wanted to show you this because this is what's going on with Cookie. And I wanted you guys, because there was a moment here in time where I felt it's kind of necessary for us to sort of zoom out and figure out, like, what is the market doing? How is the market reacting? And the reason that I brought this up was because this right here represents that moment in time. Let me go over to the Bitcoin chart, and same thing over here. This is that moment in time where we really had that explosive move, the beginning of what could be considered the bullish, a bull run, or an altcoin, a mini altcoin season. So we saw that narrative play out, and Cookie was a good example of it. And guess what? We're seeing the reversal happening right now. Like, we are right here by comparison. So there is a strong possibility over the next 60 days that this is what we're going to end up seeing. And I think that, you know, not unlike this last one, and let me show you why. We go back to that global money supply, and we saw this just dynamic sort of move right there. And if we kind of fit that in and say, well, this is the narrative, this is where we, you know, this is where we had that run right there. And this again goes to Cookie, right? I just wanted to point out here, we have so much higher to go. And look, while we're talking about that, it did not happen for Terra Luna Classic. However, not yet in this run, but let's go back over here and let's look at it from this context. When that happened right there, this thing absolutely sprung. Didn't happen until towards the end of the run. Okay, so first of all, I just want to point this out. I want to point out that, you know, we're off by a few days here, that, you know, it starts to run. We didn't run here. Like we got a big spike going right here, and we got a little bit of a move right there, but it really didn't spike until towards the end of the liquidity flow. Okay, now the end of the liquidity flow, according to this chart metric, is right here, which means that if we're going to break out, should be in the next 30 days, based on that, somewhere in this range. And with that enormous sort of spike that we had right there, just as a consideration here, not telling you what to think, but I am telling you that symmetry does matter. There would probably be an enormous spike coming for Terra Luna Classic. Now, it is going to be my estimation that this is more likely, a much less bold move, but that if it breaks and it goes above and we get motivated people stepping in as buyers, if we get that, then what you look at is this move up above and then a breakout above. And then we start finding out, you know, whether or not we have some strength and whether we have some power. That's what's, you know, that to me, that's what matters. Now, again, I do think that we're starting to see that sort of breakout moment there. So I'm going to be watching this to see how it goes. And, you know, if anything good happens, I'll let you know. Now, over the last, I added fun in here. There's a few more. By the way, in the comment section down below, put down any crypto that you want to have tracked that's part of Lunk right now. I don't think that I could put in Believe. I don't know that that's tracked. I don't think that it is. You know, Sleeve is the one. Yeah, Sleeve is tracked, but Believe is not. So I don't know that the Believe token is going to be tracked on here. So, but we're up 43% on Cookie. We're up 10% on Garuda X, and we're down a little bit on everything else. Also, somebody asked about how you check this out, and it's validator.info, and then you're looking for Terra Classic. You can see this right here. If you zoom in up, you know what, I get. By the way, that's my background. Yeah, horror fan. So anyway, validator.info, Terra-Classic governance. But you can find it from just validator.info, and you can start to go down and navigate. But then you find it, then you can look at all of the validators, and you can see exactly what they are or are not doing. And you can track how they're voting. You can track everything that you want right there. So there you go. Looks like there's some inflows coming back in, but I don't think that that's incredibly significant. Uncode Lounge just picked up about 10 billion right there. That's a pretty good sign. We look at the staking right here, total staked 866 down to 865. So it's a net loss still. People are, in my opinion, people are looking to sell within the next couple of weeks, or maybe they're going to find a different place to stake. Remember, Binance has a pretty sweet staking reward right now. So Terra Classic Market Module, the fight is on, looking negative so far. The other one, by the way, going to pass. We won't spend too much time, but 3.5 is going to pass. Market Module, we've got 40% yes, 53% no. Let's go look how everybody's voting. Now, if you don't like the way people are voting, that's on you. Then vote again. You make a decision on whether or not this is important. And I think burning and I think setting up a market module are very important things. Binodes agrees, Uncode agrees, Vegas Nodes agrees, Classic Nodes agrees. Now, on the no category, you have Jesus is Lord, you have Interstellar Lounge, you have Trump Node, you have Modern Joseph Node, you had POS Node. There's a lot of people that have not voted yet, of course. Nobody is no with veto. Galactic Shift, Moonrunner, and the Alchemist have all abstained. So this is a community vote. This is a community fight, and we'll have to see how it goes. Again, once the decision is made, no matter what that decision is, you should move your validation to the people that support whatever you think is important. Now, again, if you think that everything else that Jesus is Lord is doing except for this are important, then you continue to validate with them. If you think the same thing with Happy Caddy Crypto or Interstellar Lounge, but also whatever, that's on you. The fact that I don't like those validators doesn't mean that you can't like those validators and that we can still coexist. But I will point out when they're doing something that I think is against the spirit of this open chain. Now, and I think that this right here, by the way, when you have somebody like Trevor Resner, I think that was his name, when you have somebody like that who's saying that this is just a piece of junk, they're not they haven't tested it. They're not on test centers, so I would like to see some data sheet that says that that is the case. What we need is a market module to work around so that we have that sort of capacity for the burn. And whatever your obstacle is or whatever your objection is, think about it. Again, read this, think about it, figure out what it is, and validate with the people who support your belief. If your vote here is no, validate with the people with no. If your vote is yes, validate with the people who vote yes. It's simple. And all you have to do in order to do that, by the way, you come over here, you connect your wallet, you go down here to stake right here, and then you're going to set up a manual stake. And by the way, I don't have a wallet connected to this computer, so I can't really show you, but you're going to hit a manual stake over here on station.terra.money, and then you're going to stake with the people who support you, who support what you think is important. It's very simple. You don't even have to make the decision. They're making the decisions. You just have to react to it. So figure it out. Also, we are in a market correction. Now, let me show you on this. Again, we always talk about, or I always talk about the money flow. And it's this money flow dip right there that we are in right now. Okay, we've seen that secondary spike, boom, spike, boom, spike, boom, spike, boom, spike. And now we're in this correct. And I don't know how far down it goes. I would say that at worst, it's going to go down to 45 or 405, something like that. But then we're going to get a significant and strong bounce. Now, I also think that there's a real possibility that that move is over and that we're going to see some upward momentum coming very soon. Now, again, if I back out just a little bit more, then we consider the money flow is this right here, and it's continuing on for at least another 48 to 69 days. So we've got about 2 months of bullish momentum. And guys, most important, the last bull run, we had an enormous run up and it took 45 to 60 days. It didn't take that long. So the enormous run up is going to happen very, very quickly. We just saw it, in fact, back in December. And that massive little run up that we had took us from, where were we? We're at 58, 4058, all the way up to 3017. That's a 4x. So over the course of, I want to say 3 months, over the course of a couple months, we saw a 4x on Terra Luna Classic. Now, if you didn't take profits responsibly, if you didn't sell or whatever, guess what? A lot of people did. A lot of people did. This chart tells you exactly what they did. Turn money supply off right here. Over this period of time, people got a nice little 4x from down here in this little bottom range right here. There were some people that accumulated. There were some people that accumulated right here. Then they got a nice little 2x and they exited. And guess what? Once that happened, we went lower because more people are selling than are buying. Very simple dynamic. You know that. I don't have to point that out. But again, when you get that next spike, this is going to be your opportunity. Eventually, there will be a spike that goes back to the positive. But here's the thing. If you get a 2x from where you are right now, if you get a 3x, if you get a 4x from where you are, again, if you're one of those lucky buyers down here and you get a nice little 4x from your position, then you're going to be tempted to take profit too. And then it's going to come back down before it breaks out. So, I mean, there's a lot of traders out here trading, and then the narrative sometimes changes. So what we want, positive narrative. What are we not getting? Positive narrative. Why does that matter? Because we need a positive narrative. Now, telling everybody, hey, the ideas that you have don't work or won't work or are junk is the way to prevent new investors. So the guy that told me, or some of the guys that were telling me that I'm breaking up a community, I mean, it's crazy, right? Not the same person, but you get my. Anyway, you guys have a good day. It's not financial advice, but I'm always right.